Celestial Virgin of the Sacred Altar. I'm the new secret weapon.
Welcome to the Tailoring Talk magazine with Roberto Revilla, together with John Evans.
Hello there.
And Alex Hansford.
Hello.
I guess we could call this a bonus Bondathon episode, though I really don't want to taint the Bondathon with what is essentially a mess of a movie. Yet we felt we couldn't completely ignore it, since it still has its place in 007 movie folklore and has built something of a cult following over the years since it was released. Yes, we are going to take a look at Casino Royale from 1967, directed by not one, not two, not three, or even four, but five. Yes, five directors. Alex, John, I'm so sorry. I couldn't stomach this, so I didn't watch it. Although, to make up for it, I've done a ton of reading and research, which, by the way, was bad enough, so that I can help you guys navigate the choppy waters of this film. But I've got to ask you, are you both okay after having sat through that?
I'm looking at my face on the video, and I can see wrinkles under my eyes I'd never had before. So I think this film's actually aged me. I wonder if it's called Casino Royale 67 because that's how old you feel after you watch it. How about you, Alex?
I've seen some pretentious, self-indulgent, but still quite funny rubbish in my days. And I'm not talking about the new Deadpool movie. Casino Royale is that film. It is just all of the pretentious and self-indulgent bits. But I laughed a lot.
Brilliant. Well, that's it for another episode of Tailoring Talk magazine. We'll see you on the next one. No, kidding. Right, on with the show. A brief synopsis. Casino Royale stars David Niven as the original Bond, Sir James Bond 007. Forced out of retirement to investigate the deaths and disappearances of international spies, he soon battles the mysterious Dr. Noah and Smash. So, Legacy of Chaos. The 1967 film Casino Royale, starring David Niven and Peter Sellers, stands as a unique and chaotic entry in the James Bond franchise. Unlike the more straightforward adaptations of Ian Fleming's works, this film veered sharply into the realm of parody and satire. The story behind its development and production is as wild and fascinating as the movie itself. The roots of Casino Royale date back to the early 50s when Ian Fleming's first James Bond novel, Casino Royale, was published in 1953. The film rights to the novel were initially acquired by producer Gregory Ratoff for $6,000. His vision for the novel included adapting it into a television play, which materialized in 1954 as a live 1-hour episode on the anthology series Climax, starring Barry Nelson as an Americanized Jimmy Bond. Alex, have you seen that one? Because I think it's on your Perks drive.
The
I've not
the
watched it
1954
yet.
one.
Yeah, it's a very grainy copy that that was obtained from the internet. It's well past its copyright, so it's fine. But yeah, so I haven't actually watched it. To be honest, getting through this one, I just had no desire to watch another Casino Royale, having just watched this.
It's
second
2
one.
hours and 11 minutes long, Casino Royale 67, which is, I mean, that's comparable with the standard Bond films. I think it wasn't Die Another Day, like the longest Bond film, something. Do you remember that one?
I believe so.
Yeah, this isn't the longest one by any means.
This is 3 minutes shorter, I think, than Die Another Day.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not really it's not really one film though, and that's what we'll come on to because it's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
After Ratoff's...
But yeah, so
I was going to say, so I was just going to continue. After Ratoff's death in 1960, the rights were purchased by Charles K. Feldman, a Hollywood producer known for successful films like What's New Pussycat. Feldman initially sought to create a serious James Bond film with Eon Productions series, but he and the producers of the Connery Bond movies, Harry Saltzman and Cubby Broccoli, failed to agree to terms. Realising the monumental task of competing with such a successful franchise, which had solidified its popularity with Sean Connery's portrayal of Bond, Feldman pivoted towards creating a parody. This decision was influenced by the success of Feldman's previous comedy, What's New Pussycat, which also starred Peter Sellers. So apparently he wanted Sean Connery for the role as well, which I guess makes sense, given that he originally wanted to make the film with Cubby and Harry.
Well, I mean it's going to be a serious film. Yeah, that's why they want to bring back now.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that it would have... Sorry, even the dogs hated it.
Wasn't Ian Fleming
imagine...
cross, though? I thought Ian Fleming had chosen David Niven and was quite upset when Sean Connery was chosen. I think there wasn't really a falling out between Fleming and Brother Broccoli's because they wanted Sean Connery, but he wrote it for David Niven.
Yeah, I mean, apparently...
I can see why that's confusing.
Yeah, I got a little bit about that coming up, actually, because originally when Ian Fleming was in talks to, start adapting his books for film, David Niven was his original choice. So it's kind
obviously
of...
Obviously a younger David Niven, I imagine.
I mean, he wouldn't have been that much younger, would he? Because, I guess
that's true.
He probably started talking about... Casino Royale came out in 1953, I think. I just said when it came out, didn't I?
The original one.
The book. 53? The book.
Oh, right, yeah.
The
book was
1953 it was published, and kind of his books were like a runaway success, weren't they? So the film rights... they were starting to kind of get those bought up just a few years after the novels came out. So David Niven would only have been maybe about 10 years younger, and I'm not sure how old he was in Casino Royale, but he already looks like he's a bit older. But then people back then, they seem to age a lot faster than we do now. Because Connery was only 32 when he did Dr. No, and so he's only 42, 43 when he does Diamonds Are Forever. But in Diamonds Are Forever, he looks like he's pushing 60.
The cast after this film would have aged anyway, wouldn't they? I mean, it was chaos. So
yeah,
different times, though, different lifestyles. People look different. There's pictures on the internet you can see now of like comparing, actors of different of the same age but from different eras, and they just it was a different look in life, different priorities, I guess. Everyone wants to be young. And YouTube influencers nowadays, they don't want to be seen as kind of... I think in those days, it was very much you smoke, you drank martinis or gins, you wore suits rather than T-shirts and jeans. It was kind of a different fit vibe and feel to what grown-ups or adults look like, which is interesting. That's why it's been really interesting to watch these films. The way they really are a really good social timeline, aren't they, really? I mean, I don't know where you put this in. I mean, this is just. I mean, For me, the very first comment I made after why what an amazing cast about this film was, this is very much peak whimsical, drug-induced, sexually permissive 1960s in all its glory, isn't it? Really, this film.
Yeah, well, I mean, it certainly seems like it was a bit of a roller coaster. As production began in 1966 under the banner of Columbia Pictures, the project quickly descended into chaos due to a lack of coherent direction and vision. Feldman's decision to employ multiple directors for different segments of the film added to the disarray. The directors included John Huston, Ken Hughes, Robert Parrish, Joe McGrath, and Val Guest, and an uncredited Richard Talmadge. So there was an unofficial sixth director. Each director brought their own style and perspective, resulting in a disjointed narrative. John Huston directed the scenes featuring David Niven as Sir James Bond. Huston was a renowned director known for films like The Maltese Falcon and The African Queen. He left the project citing creative differences, particularly regarding the film's chaotic and unfocused production.
Angelica Houston's father, isn't he, John Huston?
He absolutely is. Ken Hughes directed, and she was actually in the film. It was her first experience on camera.
It was her hand, isn't it? It was her hand. She's a hand double for someone. Yeah.
That's it. Spoiler alert. Ken Hughes directed the Berlin segment, a surreal and elaborate scene that contributed to the film's overall disjointed feel. He was known for his work on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. We've all seen that. Brought a whimsical, almost fantastical approach to his section. Robert Parrish was responsible for the scenes with Peter Sellers and Orson Welles. Parrish had to navigate the notorious feud between Sellers and Welles, which created substantial tension on set. Joe McGrath was responsible for the sequences featuring Peter Sellers and Ursula Andress. He'd previously collaborated with Peter Sellers on The Goon Show, but even he struggled to manage Peter Sellers' erratic behaviour and frequent clashes with the production team. Val Guest was brought in to piece together the overall narrative and direct the final scenes. He was known for his work in science fiction films like The Day the Earth Caught Fire and The Day That This Movie Caught Fire. His role was to create a semblance of coherence from the disparate elements, a nearly impossible task given the circumstances. And finally, the uncredited sixth director, Richard Talmadge, was a veteran stunt coordinator and director brought in to oversee some of the film's action sequences, further highlighting the fragmented nature of the production. Now, from the clips that, and I've watched a lot, I mean, I might as well have just watched the film because I've seen so many clips on YouTube, but certainly you watch clips of other films, random clips, but you can kind of tell, look and feel wise, it's the same movie. This, I could have been watching random clips from anything. Watching the film for you guys, what I've described there for each director, does that make sense?
Yeah. Did it make sense to you, Alex?
They do feel like different films, but you
Vignettes,
just go with it. Yeah, they are completely, and you're like, we're here now, right? It looks like we're in East Berlin. Why are we in East? And it's just like, it's things like that you're just like, I don't get it. But then
they use the Game of Thrones travel algorithm, don't they? Where you can sort of teleport from one place to the other very, very quickly. You know, there's no real accounting for distance in this. You know what I mean?
Oh, But what's funny is they make a deal about it. They literally are like, I'm giving it away later, but it's literally just like, you know, well, how am I going to get to Berlin? Well, in a cab, of course. And then you go, they're going aren't they? They're going to just, and then they literally just drive it to there. And then Bernard Cribbins is there, and then you're just like, of course it's Bernard Cribbins. And oh my god, the cast. It's just, the thing. What astounds me about this is the filming is so good, but and the cast is so good, and they created such a mess, and it's just like you look at it and you just like, and a lot of these people end up going into proper Bond as well, and you just end up just going, oh my god, what happened? it just, it was such a. But what's funny about it is it is funny, and it's funny partly because you're laughing at it. But you're laughing because they're just being so ridiculous and silly constantly. Like it's like watching a carry-on film. Well, I mean, it is a carry-on film in an extent. And it's just, but the thing is, it's a carry-on film with great cast that you go, I know them.
Amazing
what
cast.
are they doing in here? It's just it blows your mind, and then you end up. I saw this with my wife, and she was just thought I was insane. She was just like, "What is this?" And then they'll have whole dance numbers in it, and then you go, "Okay, well, I mean that was nice, but why was it there?" It just doesn't make any sense. But you're just driven, you're just carried along with the whole thing, and then at the end, you kind of go, "Well, look, I enjoyed it. Bits of it make no sense, but I did enjoy it." And then what's funny about that is then having seen. Sorry, I'm going off on one now.
No, carry on. No, you go.
But having
mate,
seen Casino Royale beforehand, so having actually seen a proper Casino Royale, there's bits of the plot where you're like, oh, they really have taken the book. Like they're trying to follow
in
this.
the game and the baccarat and all the rest.
With the game, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At which point you're like, oh, they're really trying, but then it ruined them. So it's just I can't explain this film because it's so. And this is why the multiple directors make sense. I have to stop.
As I get further, I will go over the plot so that you guys can really get some baggage out of your systems. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is my therapy. Thank you,
as we get into this, it becomes morbidly fascinating, this film. It's a real cinematic, historical curiosity. You mentioned the cast. The casting process mirrored the production's chaotic nature. David Niven was cast as Sir James Bond, the retired original 007, fitting the parody's requirement for a mature and dignified Bond figure. Niven was Ian Fleming's personal choice for the role of Bond in earlier, more serious adaptations, adding an ironic twist to his casting in this spoof. Peter Sellers was cast as Evelyn Tremble, a bumbling baccarat expert recruited to impersonate Bond. His involvement in the film was particularly problematic. He clashed with Orson Welles, who played the villain Le Chiffre. The tension between the two was so severe they refused to work together directly, leading to creative filming techniques to avoid having them share screen space. So I think this is where you have that sort of to and fro between them at the baccarat table.
He's doing magic tricks.
It's filmed completely separately.
Orson Welles was a big fan of magic, wasn't he? Orson Welles' personal, because I was listening to another podcast about Citizen Kane. And he was a big fan of doing magic tricks. So when I heard that, I did think back to the scene where he's at the baccarat table where, as you said, Bobby, that neither Peter Sellers or Orson Welles were there at the same time. They filmed them separately. And so what was he doing? Is he trying to impress the ladies? Is it like the equivalent of pressing a finger to your eye and making your tear ducts bleed? I don't know what it is.
Sellers.
It was so funny though. It was just so funny.
Sellers also
I'm going to pull birds out of my sleeves now. Look, here are flags and other sleeves. Never mind. Let's play a game of cards.
Sellers also frequently disagreed with the directors and eventually walked off the set before completing all his scenes. This forced the production to creatively edit the film to accommodate his absence, further complicating the storyline. The film featured a star-studded ensemble cast, including Ursula Andress as Vesper Lind. She had previously starred as Honey Rider in Dr. No, the first official Bond film by Eon Productions. Woody Allen stars as Jimmy Bond, Sir James Bond's neurotic nephew and the film's main antagonist. His portrayal of a villainous figure added an absurd twist to the film's narrative. Deborah Kerr stars as Agent Mimi / Lady Fiona McTarry, who played a double agent pretending to be a Scottish widow.
She was brilliant. I thought she was brilliant in this.
Joanna Pennell
was really good.
Joanna Pettet as Matta Bond, the
I think it's
daughter
Pettit.
of Matta.
I think it's Joanna Pettit, right?
Whatever, the daughter of Mata Hari and James Bond, reflecting the film's
Illegitimate
absurd
daughter, I think.
and convoluted plot. Dahlia Levy as the detainer, one of the many female agents in the film, and the film also featured cameos by stars
Hold on, stop. Pause. Go back to Dahlia Levy. There's a scene in this film, I actually know which one I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
Where she's lying on this metal, like a bit like the gurney, the hospital table that you get when Blofeld's trying to cut Bond in half with a laser.
Yeah.
Right? She's lying on this, but she's got like these two metal rings around her breasts and her lower pelvis.
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
She is absolutely categorically, I know because I paused and zoomed and checked, categorically naked underneath that. And like filming on set, what was going on? Why did she need to be naked?
That was the Woody Allen scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, at one point,
it was.
You get a little nipple peeking out from under the metal, and you think she's definitely naked. Why does she need to be naked? Anyway,
it was so.
Sorry, carry on,
ridiculous. Bobby. Constantly, but go on. You just keep going and try and keep going while we're
The film also featured. I can't believe that I put together an essay on this. The film also featured cameo appearances by stars such as Jean-Paul Belmondo and George Raft, adding to its eclectic nature. It also, as Alex mentioned earlier, boasts the greatest number of actors in a Bond film either to have appeared or to go on to appear in the rest of the Eon series. Besides Andrus in Dr. No, Shaybal appears as Kronstein in From Russia with Love, Burt Kwok features as Mr. Ling in Goldfinger, and an unnamed Spectre operative in You Only Live Twice. Ronan plays a masseuse in You Only Live Twice. Skoular appears as Ruby Bartlett in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Jack Gwilym, who has a minor role as a British Army officer, plays a Royal Navy officer in Thunderball. Caroline Munro, seen very briefly as one of Dr. Noah's gun-toting guards, went on to play Naomi in The Spy Who Loved Me, and also appears with other models on the cover of the 1969 Pan Books edition of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Milton Reed, who appears in a bit part as the Temple Guard, opening the door to Matta Bond's Hall, plays one of Dr. No's guards, and Stromberg's underling, Sandor, in The Spy Who Loved Me. John Hollis, who plays the Temple Priest in Matta Bond's Hall, went on to play the implied Ernst Stavro Blofeld character in the pre-credit sequence of For Your Eyes Only. Sorry, I'm just laughing because I was listening to the really 007 guys. They're doing a rerun of the opening sequences from all the films and talking about that opening from For Your Eyes Only. I mean, it was so bizarre. John Wells, Q's assistant, appears in For Your Eyes Only as Dennis Thatcher. Remember the end of that film?
Oh, yeah.
Hal Galili.
You know, I watched it. I thought, I recognise him. I've never seen him before. I recognised him.
Yeah. He played Dennis Thatcher. Hal Galili, who appears briefly as a US Army officer at the auction, had earlier played gangster Jack Strapp in Goldfinger. Well-established stars such as Peter O'Toole and sporting legends such as Sterling Moss took uncredited parts solely in order to work with the other cast members. Moss played Evelyn's driver. Peter O'Toole supposedly took payment in a case of champagne. Stunt director Richard Talmadge employed Geraldine Chaplin to appear in a brief Keystone Cops insert. The film proved to be young Angelica Houston's first experience in the film industry, as she was called upon by her father John to cover the screenshots of Kerr's hands. It features the first theatrical appearance of David Prowse, who we know as Darth Vader, as Frankenstein's monster. Originally, in the original script, they had him as Winnie the Pooh, dressed up as Winnie the Pooh. And then for some reason, I think I did look into it. It was scrapped, and then
intellectual property problems, surely copyright.
Probably
because Frankenstein's out of copyright, isn't it, for many years? But Winnie the Pooh. I mean, Winnie the Pooh only came out of copyright recently, which is why that terrible film Winnie Blood and Honey came out recently because it's in the public arena.
Apparently,
oh my god! I mean, Yeah, it's a big old cast. You didn't mention Derek Nimmo's in there as well as Bernard Cribbins, and Ronnie Corbett as Polo, who I thought was
Corbett
hilarious.
Oh my god, he was
God,
just
yeah. He was
funny.
pretty typecast, wasn't he?
Very.
But he was very good in it because he was very much exactly what the film's vibe demanded, wasn't he? This kind of, it almost reminded me of who was that? Who was the small guy with the bowler hat, the little man that was in one of the Bond films? Fantasy Island, because that's Knick-Knack. Yeah, he reminded me a bit of like an early Knick-Knack.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah.
I mean, there were sliding doors moments, let's put it that way, that led to this being what it was. Yeah. The screenplay for Casino Royale underwent numerous rewrites, resulting in a fragmented and confusing plot. The initial script was penned by Ben Hecht, a legendary screenwriter known for films like Scarface, the 1932 one, and Notorious in 1946. His original drafts aimed to blend comedy with a coherent spy narrative. However, he died in 1964. First problem. The script then saw contributions from a variety of writers, including Billy Wilder, Joseph Heller, Terry Southern, and Woody Allen. Each writer's contributions were often out of step, shall we say, with the others, leading to a screenplay that lacked any type of cohesion. Hecht's draft, which focused more on the plot and character development, was later transformed into a series of comedic vignettes. Wilder, Heller, and Southern introduced more surreal and absurd elements, aligning with Feldman's vision of a broad satire. Woody Allen's improvisational style further influenced the script, especially in his own scenes, adding another layer of inconsistency. The film's plot is a convoluted series of vignettes centered around Sir James Bond coming out of retirement to confront the threat posed by Smash. To confuse the enemy, multiple agents are given the codename James Bond 007. The narrative jumps between different locations and characters, creating a surreal and often nonsensical story. This structure, while intended to be humorous, often left audiences bewildered. On a scale of 1 to 10...
I watched this, Bobby, I watched this at 10 a.m. By
10 a.m. Jesus Christ!
I'm on holiday. By 10:45 a.m., I was drinking alcohol. Wow. That's how bad it got for me. You're going to ask the question.
It's always 11 a.m. somewhere.
Yeah. The rating. You rate it already?
Just a bewilderment rating, actually. Just a bewilderment rating.
What's the scale, Bobby? Help us out here.
Well, from 1 to 10.
Oh, okay.
One being like, oh, this is pretty cool, to 10 being, what the...
Yeah, 10, definitely 10.
Alex?
Maybe 11. I think actually, I think 11 for me.
I think if you're gonna rate it on how confusing it is, I would probably give it about an 8. There were some bits that were actually trying to make sense. It was just that there were little moments where they were trying to do the same to make it make sense, and then it would just change, and it would just be no, now it's a gag, or no, now we're going to have a dance number. Now we're going to do something completely different. Now we're going to change our Bond. It just, it couldn't keep up. It was
like being slowly punched in the face by a member of the Goons wearing sequin gloves, basically. I think we should go through and break apart some of the bits that you like, though, Alex, don't you?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's run through the plot so that we can save some of our listeners who haven't seen it from having to sit in front of it.
Well, if they're still listening,
guys can interject and you can interrupt at anything that was either particularly good or particularly bad, or anything that you just really feel like you've got to I've got to say something about this. So James Bond 007, a legendary British spy who retired 20 years earlier, is visited by M, the head of British MI6, CIA representative Ransom, KGB representative Smirnov, and Deuxième Bureau representative Legrand. all implore him to come out of retirement to deal with Smash, who've been eliminating agents. Bond spurns their pleas, stands firm, and his mansion is destroyed by a mortar at the orders of M, who is killed in the explosion.
Let me interrupt you. First of all, right, why is James Bond wearing a turban? Okay, why is he wearing a turban? Okay, that's the first thing. Second of all right, what is M's accent? And what's going on with his hair dye job? Okay, right. Thirdly, right, they try to convince Bond to come out of retirement, and help them, and they blow his house up. They're only ready to blow the bloody doors off. Right. Why have they blown his house up?
And
literally, I've got to work for a company.
And they kill M in the process.
Yep, that's right. They kill M.
Or do they?
And they just literally, we can't convince him, so we're just going to blow up his house.
Also, why has Bond got a stutter? Why is he stuttering?
He did. He had a stutter for a gag. There was a gag that when he has a stutter when he's not in the service, and then when he's in the service, he's like, "Oh look, my stutter's gone," and I'm like, "Really? You filmed a whole scene doing that for that gag? It wasn't even a good gag."
Bobby, you're going to talk more about more plot, but
yes. If they've started that low, there's more to come. Bond returns M's remains, which are a toupee, to his widow, Lady Fiona McTarry, at M's estate. However, the real Lady Fiona has been
Fiona McTarry, laddie,
been replaced by Smash's
stop again now.
agent.
No, let's stop again. Right. Now we're in the McTarry household, the Laird's house, the Glen, wherever it is. Alex, we could, rather than doing gadget count and bonk count, we could probably do how many different cultures and countries have been offended by this film. Let's start off, shall we, by Scotland. All right, because these accents.
You've got seats.
Is going on with these accents
before that, right?
Well, but the Scottish one is so bad.
Oh my god! And every single person in this film, no one is Scottish, and there's at least sort of 20 female characters in this scene. They're all, and it's like watching a car crash in slow motion, because you know he's going to talk to someone else, and they're going to have a really terrible accent as well. I mean, the girl in the bath, what's that all about? But right?
Those are the daughters, M's daughters. Oh,
but her accent was so bad because the real Lady Fiona has been replaced by Smersh's agent Mimi. The household has been replaced by beautiful women. Smersh aims to destroy Bond's celibate image. The bevy of beauties failed to seduce Bond, and Mimi
that's fine then. No, that's fine. Fiona, that's fine. They're all French.
That totally makes sense.
Well, because if they're like Russian agents, they're not going to be able to do a Scottish accent, so that explains that.
It was really distracting. Go on.
Carry on, Max. No, you're after you. Mine's a bit more of a climax, so after you.
Just really distracting.
Let me get to the end of this paragraph, and then...
really, I was really fraught. I was just like, what am I meant to see here?
So all of these beautiful women failed to seduce Bond, and Mimi/Lady Fiona is so impressed that she helps him foil the plot against him and joins a convent. On his way back to London, Bond survives another attempt on his life and is named head of MI6.
Stop, Bobby. Stop. We're back to the house. Sorry. First of all, was the whole M being killed and so the toupee came off? Was that whole scene written into it just for the gag heirloom?
Yes.
Probably.
Right.
It all was.
So like a good 20 minutes of plot was really based around setting up that gag. All right. Travesty. Okay. Now I'm looking at my notes. I've written down WTF, Alex. Goat on a stick carried by virgins.
Yep.
What was that about?
There's so much of this is wrong, and then you just have to go with it. But then what's frustrating is you're like, am I meant to be shocked? Because part of me is shocked, but then the other part of me is just like, I just don't understand enough to be shocked. It's just so confusing.
I'm going to read some of my comments, right? Okay. Corridor of Sexy Ladies. All right.
Oh yeah.
Is Bond gay? For a start. Oh God, the French dubbing. They weren't even French actors. They were all British because when they spoke French, they then brought in French-speaking women to dub over them, and the lip sync was terrible. All right. And I've just written down here, this film is one long hard-on. Isn't it, really? I mean, it's just 5-6 people who wrote this film, and they're all men, weren't they, to be honest.
I'm not talking to those two. I'm talking to you viewers. I'm trying to move this boat along, okay? It will not be as long as the Casino Royale episode. I refuse to split this up. On his way back so speaking of hard-ons, on his way back to London, he survives another assassination attempt. He's named head of MI6. He learns that many British agents around the world have been eliminated by enemy spies because of their inability to resist sex, which makes perfect sense, actually, if you think about it. Bond also learns, this says me, taking advantage of Alex and John's hesitation, that the sex maniac who was given the name James Bond when he retired has gone to work in television. To expose Smersh's master plan, Bond orders that all remaining MI6 agents will be named James Bond 007, which tallies with the trailer that I saw, which also influenced Carolina's decision not to bother watching this either. And this will confuse Smersh. He creates a rigorous program to train male agents to ignore the female charm. Moneypenny recruits Coop, a karate expert, and meets an exotic agent known as the Detainer. Bond hires Vesper Lind, a retired agent turned millionaire, to recruit Baccarat expert Evelyn Tremble, whom he intends to use to beat Smersh agent Le Chiffre. Le Chiffre has embezzled Smersh's money and is desperate to cover up his theft before he is executed.
Stop there.
More getting shit off your chest. Go for it.
Stop. So okay, I'm going to say things quickly here so we can move on. What the hell were the grouse drones, Alex? That's a gadget there. The grouse drones. What was that all about?
Absolutely.
Right, missile grouse. Right. What we missed out the E-Type car chase, the remote control milk float.
Yes, with the remote control milk float.
A day. That was pretty awesome. What don't you think? That was a pretty cool sequence of the film. I mean, that must have been quite expensive, quite a tricky sequence. That was really good. The car chase was really good. It was ridiculous. Again,
it was.
In fact, it reminded me. It reminded me of the scene from Black Panther. Because in Black Panther, you've got Shuri and Martin Freeman remote controlling one of their spaceships from like that cool holographic control room thing he was in. Well, in this, they had the same thing. They had 3 sexy ladies in this massive control room with maps everywhere and like buttons and things, and people on phones, remote controlling the milk float with missiles and things going on as well. That was a pretty cool sequence, I thought. It was, again, shit crazy.
I just remembered...
And
They had a Scalextrics. They had a Scalextrics, and they were doing the chase.
That's right.
On the Scalextrics. Oh my god, it was so funny.
So to represent,
I didn't even notice that.
to represent the car chase in the Hottie control room with the 3 legs circle in the centre. Around them, they had, as I said, a Scalextric set, and I think like a bit like World War II, tactics operators with the paddles pushing the cars around the Scalextric, and trying to match up with what was going on in the real world. It's just, I mean, it was charming, but absolutely bonkers. Moneypenny,
it was
played by Barbara Boucher. What a hottie. She was absolutely stunning. And was, I think, there's one of the film's saving grace, because she's actually very charismatic as well. I thought she was a really good character, because you mentioned about Moneypenny coming in there. Bobby. We'll try to jump to the next bit where you're talking about
following
Coops.
a clue from Agent Mimi, Bond instructs his estranged daughter, Mata Bond, to travel to West Berlin and infiltrate International Mother's Help, an au pair service that is actually a Smersh training centre. She uncovers a plan to sell compromising photos of military leaders from the US, USSR, China, and Great Britain at an art auction, another money-raising scheme from Le Chiffre. Mata destroys the photos, leaving Baccarat as Le Chiffre's only remaining option.
So I'm sorry, Bobby. We have to go back.
Alex.
We have to go. We have to go back because I've just. The thing is, you've got to remember all of the female agents in the gym trying to. You've got to trying to turn.
Oh God!
The
It was like
potential bonds.
It was like Willy Wonka in the fact Willy Wonka's factory, wasn't it, Alex?
My word!
Like
Yeah, it was just every
the different
kind
rooms
of,
they go past.
Yeah.
Like there's a
Oh,
room,
my
like a
God.
room where they're all doing karate. There's a room where they're all shooting or something, but they're all themed in different colours. It was exactly like that bit where Willy Wonka goes through all the different Oompa Loompa rooms, and they're all at different environments. That's what it reminded me of.
But we missed. The thing is, there's a whole section before we got to that.
Yeah,
Because the thing is that there was a whole section with Vesper Lind, and which is what you covered initially, with the gym.
Yeah.
There was the whole thing of her bumping, getting rid of the body of the previous
some bloke
victim.
in the freezer. Yeah,
That's it. Yeah, it literally fridged.
yeah.
There was, oh my God, it was just so much about it. You just, oh God.
There was a statue of Lord Nelson in her garden, wasn't there?
Yeah, the statue.
And they had those
But
sort of
no.
sunken sofas that dropped and. Oh, God.
Peter Sellers gone. Peter Sellers dressing up.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yes, I wrote that down.
Yes.
I wrote down.
God,
I wrote
no,
down,
my God, dressing up as
WTF
Hitler.
is going on. He dressed up as Hitler. His final costume
Yeah,
was a Hitler outfit.
It was
It's just-
it was a proper Hitler out. They're like, what?
It
What
was.
was going on? Oh my God! And the thing is, it didn't feel like. Bobby, you have to bear with us because you made us
it's
watch
fine.
this.
You guys carry on.
He dressed
I'm
as Toulouse
basically
Trek as well, didn't he?
I'm getting the movie up here, and I'm gonna. But this whole
there was a
Berlin
spinning
sequence. This
Oh
all
my God,
sounds
the
like
spinning
Ken
bed.
Hughes, Mr. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, right? All this whimsical
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, but it was what was surprising was like absolutely none of this felt cheap. It must have cost an absolute fortune.
Oh, they went massively over budget, Alex. They went massively over budget, if I remember rightly.
So every part of it, your eyes were just overwhelmed by like how
it was
plush
opulent,
things
wasn't
were.
it?
Yeah, very. Every single part of it felt a little bit over the top. Yeah, sorry, but it's just that's the thing. It's like even a dressing up scene, and you had like mirrors and a circular bed and
feathers flying around and things dropping to the floor and but the budget was approved. That was approved. Remember, this is 1967. So if you want to get your calculators out and work out what it's worth now, the budget originally was $6 million, which was massive in '66. It went months over schedule, and by the time the film was completed, the budget had more than doubled, making it one of the most expensive films made up to that time. So Thunderball had a budget of $9 to $11 million. You Only Live Twice had a similar. So I've listened to the production problems of Cleopatra. They were referring to this film as a mini Cleopatra because obviously Cleopatra almost bankrupted 20th Century Fox at the time. So yes, you're right. This was, they overspent big time. I'm getting palpitations just thinking about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can we also talk about the fact that when Sellers walked through what would have been like the Q-bit?
Oh yes,
with the whole gag.
Q branch is in Harrods.
Yeah,
isn't it?
So it's in Harrods.
Hold on, and Alex. Q's familiar as well. Who is Q? Who's Q famous for being?
Oh, I can't remember. He's really familiar, but I can't remember who he's from.
Do you know, Bobby, who Q was also?
He was
very famous British TV series he was in. A kids TV series. That's my big clue.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about Q's assistant. I don't know because I don't know who the Q guy is.
No, I know who he was now.
Jeffrey Belden. Jeffrey Belden. Come on, that's a clue. Jeffrey Belden was very famous. No, not that Jeff. He worked. Say again.
You say it.
Yeah, go on, Bobby.
So I'm doing my zippy. No, sorry. I don't know.
He worked alongside John Pertwee in Was a Gummidge. He was the like the head. He was the head scarecrow dude, wasn't he? In Was a Gummidge.
Yeah,
You never saw that, did you,
Russell
Bobby?
Gummidge.
I used to get nightmares over
Anyway.
that show.
Anyway,
Yeah, Q Branch.
we need to go. So we need to go back to Q Branch, because the thing is, like, you think to yourself, okay, this is going to be massive with gadgets. You think to yourself, it's going to be full of them. No, there's a camera, and apart from that,
there's a hat.
it's just
there's a hat,
everything.
shooting hat.
There is a hat,
There's a shooting hat.
But apart from
that
that,
goes wrong and just kills
don't
the person
forget the
wearing a
dwarf.
hat, I think.
Yeah, don't forget the dwarf.
Why were there Nazis beating up a naked bloke behind Q as well? What was that about?
Oh God!
And then later on,
they marched.
if you look in the background, there's like lots of naked bloke at a chair, and I wonder if it was a reference to the Le Chiffre scene where he gets in the modern Bond. But then later on, they're at like the catering table having a fag and chatting to each other, and he's covered in covered in blood. What's that about? What's going on?
That's it. And then they talk about the whole because he wears a bulletproof suit, doesn't he? And then they talk about that being quite uncomfortable and all this. I'm just.
Well, there's a dude. There's a dude who's like a tailor. Here we go. This is for Bobby. There's the tailor dude giving him his bulletproof. But is he not the complete inspiration for the Suit You chaps in the Fast Show? I think he is. God, I think when they watch this, he is the inspiration for. Suit you, sir.
Now this won't hurt a bit, sir.
Would you like to wear it in blue serge, sir? Are you standing by that tree, sir? Hiding like a fawn, sir? All that sort of stuff. Definitely inspiration. And he's just going through all the different pockets and things. So camp. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. There is loads of stuff like Geiger counter, Beretta, minigun. But the problem is they don't show any of it because it's not about that. It's just about the gag. And then they do have, and this is the other thing, they do have the TV watch.
Yeah,
so
the Dick Tracy watch.
That is,
that
is the thing that you kind of like. Okay, well, all right, I get that. But again, they just use it for a gag. So it's anyway.
Yeah, and so earlier on, Bobby was saying off to Berlin. Is that right, Bobby? Well, again, you missed a whole bunch out. There's a whole scene which has so much cultural misappropriation and whitewashing, and that is when
it's deliberate.
They go to India, don't they?
Oh God, yeah.
They go to India.
Right. Yeah, they go
and
to India.
But they're wearing. It looks like they're actually wearing, like, rather than wearing like the Indian or Pakistani national dress, it looks like they're wearing the Cambodian national dress, which are the Apsara dancers. I don't know. It looked like they were wearing the wrong outfits. He goes like Mata Bond, doesn't she? She goes to India and meets up with. Well, he meets up with Mata Bond, and she's the Celestial Virgin, the Naked Altar, and. Was that a dream sequence? I thought, was it real?
Much of that is wrong. It's so random. I mean, it's all of it is so random, and then that's it. They don't explain it any further. They literally just go, "Oh, okay," and then they move on.
Well, they go back to London,
but that's obviously him going and picking up his daughter, isn't it? That's basically
it's going to be Mata Bond, who's sitting on. Yeah, she's like in some sort of harem with dancers and.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It could almost have been an outtake from the original Star Trek, couldn't it? It could be on some planet somewhere. Then they go back to London, and that's where they meet Bernard Cribbins and the taxi driver, and then the quick sort of drive through Europe to Berlin. Bobby, over to you.
Yes, right. Go on, Bobby.
We've all caught up now, Bobby. Berlin. I've got a headache already. I've got a headache. Keep going, Bobby.
You think you've got a headache?
I need some CBD.
Following a clue from Agent Mimi, Bond instructs his daughter, Mata Bond, to travel to West Berlin and infiltrate. I know I already did that bit, didn't I? Evelyn arrives.
You did, but you needed the reminder.
Evelyn arrives at Casino Royale, accompanied by Vesper, who falls in attempt by seductive Smersh agent Miss Goodthighs to disable him. Yes, John.
Have we gone to Berlin yet?
We've gone to Berlin. We've just gone to Berlin.
We did Berlin.
Right. Is this the revolving toilet? It is, isn't it?
Can we talk about Berlin? Like, have you got more, Bobby?
Well, it's
right, Bobby.
Listen. We're already about 40 minutes in, and I'll try and keep this down to an hour.
We've only just started here. But listen, mate. So Matahari's School of Dance is next, and you can't forget Ronnie Corbett here. But you were talking earlier on about the different directors and the different styles of filming. I think they even used a different film stock here, because the whole quality of the film changes in terms of how it looks, doesn't it, Alex? Like, it's just a weird kind of they've changed. They've gone to a different millimeter. I don't know what it is. But we're in sexy West Berlin. You walk in and it's like sort of kind of like sex shops and people hanging out and getting drunk. And obviously it has a little shot, doesn't it, at the other side of the Berlin Wall, where they're all like kind of almost Russian in their sort of military formality. Right. That, I think this is where Bobby was talking about meeting up with Le Chiffre, isn't it, before we go off to the card game and so on. But I mean, there's an auction. Don't they start auctioning?
There's quite a way to get to that, because you have to get to the auction, don't you?
The auctioneer looks like
Putin.
To get.
These guys have never heard of Cut for Time.
No, we're not cutting this. And
we're trying, Bobby, but there's so much to this.
My God, I probably did. It would have been quicker for me to watch the bloody film than to put all of this together, but. You know, I just thought for the sake of the viewers and the listeners, I would just be able to sort of whisk this along, get through all of this, and talk about the legacy of this film.
We can talk about why I thought this bit was riffing off Doctor Strangelove. There's a scene, Alex, before we move on to Orson Welles playing the card game and so on. There's a scene where they open up like what they call this, the things on the ground, circular covers. On the ground. Help me out here. What's the word? Cover. Manhole cover. And basically, when they open it up, What's New Pussycat starts singing, and you hear people sort of screaming and laughing. And there's kind of obviously a reference to What's New Pussycat. What was that about? Anyway, the telephone box
and don't forget
the wall down. 60 car wash.
Don't forget the whole gag of the auction is that, like one of them stands up. I think it's the English. No, and then one of them sits down, and then the Englishmen are like a bit of both. Yeah. And then
we're going to stand up when we want to sell and sit down to buy, and then we're going to no. And then they had the ironically the leader of the Chinese contingent or Korean contingent was Kato. Was the actor who plays Kato with Peter Sellers in the
Burt Kwok.
Yes,
Burt Kwok, who's brilliant.
God, yes.
He says we will stand up all the time. They're all standing. It's like they're sort of dancing, isn't it? Up and down, and it's just bizarre. Like, whose idea is that?
To confuse everyone, they put war film on, and then everyone was literally like, "Sorry, we're at war now," and then just hiding under table. It was hilarious.
The British general goes, "I'm sorry, darling, I can't come home for tea. Apparently, there's a war going on." Like, it's just like,
why didn't I bring my PlayStation Portal down?
Can we go? I think we're ready for. Le Chiffre.
Okay, is that it? Are we all done? Can we play some poker now?
Yeah, let's go to Orson Welles.
Do you see what I did there? Do you see what I did there?
Some chick levitate. Yeah, very good, Bobby.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah. Maids.
Evelyn arrives at Casino Royale accompanied by Vesper, who falls an attempt by seductive Smirch agent Miss Goodthighs to disable him. Later that night, Evelyn observes Le Chiffre at the casino and realizes he's using infrared sunglasses to cheat. Vesper steals the sunglasses, allowing Evelyn to eventually beat Le Chiffre in a game of Baccarat. Vesper is apparently abducted outside the casino, and Evelyn is also kidnapped while pursuing her. Le Chiffre, desperate for the winning check, tortures Evelyn using hallucinogens, so they don't use a bollock chair. Vesper rescues Evelyn, only to subsequently kill him. Meanwhile, Smurfs agents raid Le Chiffre's base and kill him.
Come on, Alex.
Just Alex. You've got to let us talk about the whole scene in the Casino Royale.
Okay, you guys go. I'm going to go and get another beer.
So, firstly, Lady Goodthighs had lovely thighs. I was very, very, very impressed with those thighs.
Was she in the sort of blue, sort of stripy shirt?
Yeah, she was.
Probably no one was looking at the shirt.
I am.
No one was really paying attention to that shirt.
No,
she's really
But the thing is, and then you
fit.
kind of fast forward to the card game, and then you have, and please we need to talk about the magic, because it's just
the levitation.
I mean, it's so what's fun so good about it is like the levitation is nice actual magic.
It works.
And you just at this point you're just like, oh, I mean, please, Orson Welles, I just give him my money. He's just amazing. And
do you not think, Alex, at this point, you almost were like it washed over you. You've given in, and you were with the film now. You were part of it. You know, okay,
absolutely.
No magic, no good, no, that's totally fine. You know, you've given into the whole
questioning these things now.
Yeah. It was literally like we were surfing the wave, weren't we? Of weirdness.
And so like Bobby said, it was like obviously he's got the most cheesy spot, like obvious glasses that are obviously
infrared glasses wouldn't work.
Infrared.
All you'd see with people's handprints. You wouldn't see the symbols on the cards.
What is this levitating going on? What the what?
Are you seeing it for the first time,
Did you not
Bobby?
see? You didn't see this?
No.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Because what's so good about it is it's actually good
really
magic.
Good effect.
Yeah. I mean, Orson Welles was a good magician. He practiced it himself in his spare time. He enjoyed doing magic tricks.
I love the fact that then you had Peter Sellers basically saying like, "Are we ready now?" And then they were just the tricks were getting more and more flamboyant,
more elaborate,
and outrageous and just ridiculous. And he was playing them really straight. And meanwhile, it just it was so funny because you just were watching this, just going, "Yep, okay, I'm in. It's too late now. You've got me. I can't. I've passed the point of no return now. I'm just like, I don't care what happens. We're watching the rest of this."
What they should have done, Alex, in Daniel Craig's Casino Royale, rather than putting him in a chair, whacking him in the bollocks, is just sit him down and make him watch this film. They'd have got more out of him, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, totally.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So they take away Yoshipa's glasses, don't they? And I think the reason he's doing all these magic tricks, he's stalling. I think because he's lost his glasses.
Yeah, that's right.
Then there's a bit of there's a bit of movement around. Like there's a back room with a big tiger carpeting, which I think is some switch to some other place, like downstairs, like a lift switch or something.
Yeah, but that's where the management
Vesper
and
gets
it was also
kidnapped
the lift down, doesn't it? Lift down to Dr. Noah's.
Yeah. Do they kidnap Vesper at some point? You know, I can't remember. Is there any more plots?
So what's funny is they kidnap her, drive away, and then he does. Don't forget the gag about driving as well, because there's a gag around him driving a Formula 3, I think it is.
Yeah, it's a
car. Yeah, so he does all this gag, and then it turns out that they just literally just arrived back underneath Casino Royale.
Yeah,
where they were.
At this point, there is a reference to a chair with a hole in the middle of it as well.
Yes, that's right.
And then, okay, so I don't know if Bobby's got any more synopsis, but then this is where it goes completely weird. Then we have this whole scene with Peter O'Toole and the bagpipes in the fog. And the reason it goes so weird is because this is the point where Peter Sellers gets fired, isn't it? Basically, they have to write him out of the film.
Well, yeah, because this is where his character gets killed. So,
which I was
just talking about. Yeah, but it's this whole sequence with a bunch of bagpipes. But I don't know if that's because of the hallucinogens or whatever. Ursula Andress is playing the bagpipes, and then she starts machine gunning everybody down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, it's just.
But then Vesper kills Tremble. She kills everyone. You see all these dudes in kilts on the ground, they're dead. And then Smersh kills Le Chiffre, which I think maps to the story. It happens, yeah.
It does. It does map to the story.
Yeah. Then we have a changing of the guard in London, and a UFO flies in.
Right, yeah. So in London, Matter is kidnapped. Matter is kidnapped by Smirsh in a giant flying saucer, and Sir James and Moneypenny travel to Casino Royale to rescue her.
Oh God, yeah.
They discover that the casino is located atop a giant... How could you forget this? They discover that the casino is located atop a giant underground headquarters run by the evil Dr. Noah. See what they did there? He was revealed to be Sir James Bond,
we allowed to swear on
Sir
this
James's nephew, Jimmy Bond, a former MI6 agent who defected to Smirsh despite his famous uncle. Jimmy reveals that he plans to use biological warfare. Oh my God, what the... It's an actual flying saucer.
Can I stop?
So it's a real one.
Stop.
No, not yet. I need to pull... I'm sorry, I'm pulling rank. To make all women beautiful... and kill all men over 4'6", leaving him the big man who attracts all the women. Jimmy has captured the detainer, and he tries to persuade her to be his partner. She agrees, but only to dupe him into swallowing one of his atomic time pills, turning him into a walking atomic bomb.
We've got to stop you. Stop. There is so much there.
I know we're near the end. You've compressed so much madness here, Alex. Well, you're allowed to swear.
Sorry,
do you want this to be a clean one?
No, you can go ahead.
I mean, I've written down, fuck, here comes the Scottish nun.
It's the first time these two have F-worded on any podcast, actually, never mind this one.
It's like, this part of the film, Alex, don't you agree, is like a live-action episode of Danger Mouse, basically. Well, you've got the flying saucer flying over London. It just reminded me of Danger Mouse completely. And then you've got this kind of basically outtakes from Sleeper, Woody Allen's next film, where it's just him monologuing and there's like weird things going on with. It's just so trippy. Jimmy Bond is the head of Smirch, basically, isn't he? As you say,
it's all Jimmy.
Yeah, the whole thing is based on basically the whole plot of this film is based around Woody Allen's sexual inferiority. Woody Allen, by the way, utterly regrets making this film completely. Jimmy Bond's birthday is April Fool's Day. Who'd have thought? But then you talk about the pill. Remind me about the pill, Alex. This bomb. Pill, nuclear bomb pill.
So it is basically. It's I can't remember what they call it now.
What's this fucking flying saucer shit? Seriously?
Yeah, no.
That's the Danger Mouse bit.
Yeah. There's a little one came out of the big one, and then it floats and goes into the caves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, Jimmy gets drunk.
Yeah. That's the most sensible bit about the whole thing.
Yeah.
The most sensible bit is the fact that there would within a big flying saucer in a James Bond film, there would be a little one that got you out to where you needed to go.
Escape saucer. Oh yeah, that's the Thunderbirds bit, isn't it? That's the bit where it's like Thunderbirds, where it flies across into the mountain on wire. Jimmy gets
the
drugs,
atomic pill, by the way. Yeah, so this pill that he's so proud about basically is an atomic pill, and it counts down. I think it's like. Is it 85 or something?
Yeah,
88?
something like that.
But basically, there's little bombs inside that pill, and then there's a mass. It all combines to become a massive bit. Yeah.
Turns basically you're a walking nuke bomb.
That's it, and he ends up taking the pill because he's being an absolute arse, and he deserves it. Yeah.
So then they have an escape scene, don't they? They escape from there somehow. Because Coop turns up, the guy who was being trained not to get off with girls earlier on in the film. Remember, he was
Sir James, Moneypenny, Matter, and Coop escape from their cell and fight their way back to the casino director's office,
the cavalry.
Where Sir James establishes
they're back in the casino again.
Yep, they're back in the casino because it's underneath the casino.
Oh,
but don't forget the cavalry because this is the point.
Yeah, the cowboys arrive.
That's when the cowboys arrive. It is like Blazing Saddles.
I'm watching it.
You know, in Blazing Saddles, when they run into different film sets in Blazing Saddles,
running in front of
Wild
me
West
now.
film sets.
Okay,
And then
so-
there's a whole. I mean, this fight scene is quite impressive. Basically, everyone kills everyone pretty much. But then isn't there
Oh, it
laughing
is, yeah.
gas as well, and chimpanzees and donkeys and
Yeah.
Okay, so
Indians and splat guns and
for anyone who's still
Keystone
listening,
Cops and
again,
oh
you deserve
my
a
God.
freaking medal.
Well, this is with Niven's again, isn't it? This is the thing. And then,
Yeah.
so all of this happens, and you're just like, how is this going to end?
It's an orgy.
And
An
then
orgy of nonsense
he blows
by the
up.
end.
It is an
Yeah.
orgy of nonsense, and then
Yeah.
it absolutely is. It's so ridiculous. And then he's meanwhile you have Woody Allen counting down to 0. Every time he hiccups, he's got like this little
bubble
gas
comes out.
coming out of his, and then he counts
That's
down to 0,
hand-animated.
and then it looks really really weird, but
60s.
very 60s, very 60s, and then so all of this is happening. God, yeah. Oh, wasn't there? Oh God, yes. There's the whole police black and white scene
Keystone
as well
Cops thing.
that pops
What
in.
was that about?
Yeah, that pops in for. Oh, I can't believe that. Just pops in
you've
for
got
like
this-
literally.
You've got this famous
Everyone listening,
French
I
dude
literally
that
just
I've
had
never
one
heard
more
of.
paragraph of exposition, and we were done with this bit, and we were going to go into the end of the podcast. But
Okay, give us the exposition.
Do you want
Bobby,
to
go on.
finish off?
Just,
Go on.
Just so that we have some sort of semblance.
as I was saying earlier,
of-
after he gets turned into a walking atomic bomb, Sir James, Moneypenny, Matter, and Coop escape from their cell and fight their way back to the casino director's office, where Sir James establishes that Vesper is in fact a double agent. The casino is overrun by secret agents and a battle ensues. American and French support arrives, adding to the chaos. Meanwhile, Jimmy counts down a series of hiccups, each bringing him closer to doom. The atomic pill explodes, destroying Casino Royale and everyone inside. Sir James and his agents appear in heaven.
Everyone dies.
Sir James and his
Strumming
agents appear in
harps with their
heaven,
wings
while
flapping.
Jimmy descends to hell. The end. I'm watching the Woody Allen bit right now.
Oh dear.
Bobby, on my notes, my last 3
I have to
sentences
say,
are,
though,
everyone
amidst the
dies,
ludicrousness,
FS.
the way this film is shot, the cinematography, the framing and everything is actually really good.
It's filmed very well.
It looks
filmed very well.
really good, right?
And the production is amazing. The design and the sets. I mean,
Yes.
it is an archaeological wonder of the 60s, this film. It really is, in terms of the look and the style, the clothes,
Totally.
the highly permissive values of the women, the, as you said before, the way the men look about 30 years older than they actually are, all this stuff. It is like one big LSD-fueled ice core extraction archaeological dig, basically, of the 60s.
Well, this is the interesting thing. So if we look at the release and reception, so it was released in April 1967, met with mixed reviews. Critics were divided. Some appreciated its irreverent humour and star-studded cast, while others criticised its lack of coherence and over-the-top silliness. Roger Ebert wrote, "This is possibly the most indulgent film ever made," which echoes what Alex said at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Time
there's no other way to
magazine-
describe it. It's indulgent.
Yeah, Time magazine described it as an incoherent and vulgar vaudeville. Variety said
Perfect.
it's a conglomeration of frenzied situations, in gags and special effects, lacking discipline and cohesion. Some of the situations are funny, but many are too strained. The New York Times considered it to
Perfect.
have had more of the talent agent than the secret agent. They praised the film's fast start and the scenes up to the Baccarat game, but afterwards they felt the script became tiresome, repetitive, and filled with cliches due to wild and haphazard injections of in-jokes and outlandish gags, leading to an excessive length that made the film a reckless, disconnected nonsense that could be telescoped or stopped at any point. Despite the critical reception, the film was a financial success, grossing over $41 million worldwide, making it one of the highest grossing films of the year. To put that into this perspective, in today's money, that's about 350 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which on a budget of, I think you said
That's more than
15 or
Titanic
so
took.
earlier, in today's money, it's a lot of money. A lot of money.
So it did really well for what it was, but the thing is, people enjoyed it despite its ridiculousness and like the fact that a lot of it didn't make sense, and it was so very disjointed, and they were full with in jokes and everything, but people loved it and really enjoyed it. Obviously, it's no film, it's no not going to win major like awards and stuff, but it was just, apart from the one thing that it was nominated for, quite a lot of it was for Burt Bacharach's music, because obviously he did the soundtrack.
Love.
Spoiler alert.
And The Look of Love. And the look.
Yeah,
Sorry, I have
love.
gone ahead of Robbie.
Just
and-
going
and
back,
that's-
just stay on the financials with me
that's
for a
it, go on.
second, because this is
Go
quite
on then, go
this
on.
is quite incredible. Despite the critical reception, the film was a financial success, grossing over $41 million worldwide, around $350 million in today's money. Orson Welles attributed the success to a marketing strategy that featured a naked, tattooed woman on the film's posters and print ads, and the campaign also included a series of commercials featuring British model Twiggy, who's actually on my wall right here. In its opening weekend in the US and Canada, it set a record 3-day gross for Columbia Pictures of $2.1 million. As late as 2011, the film was still making money for the estate of Peter Sellers, who negotiated an extra 3% of gross profits, an estimated $120 million, with the proceeds currently going to Cassie Unger, daughter and sole heir of Sellers' beneficiary, his fourth wife, Lynn Frederick. When domestic box office receipts are adjusted for inflation, Casino Royale is the 20th largest grossing of the entire James Bond franchise.
It would have grossed more if it wasn't for the fact that it cost quite a lot.
I mean, I think we can agree, if, and it's not going to happen, if this was inserted into the Bondathon ranking of Bond movies, which it isn't. Again, I repeat that, it is absolutely not. It would definitely be the worst, right? But it's not the worst grossing film. So, moving on, as Alex alluded, the film soundtrack saying that it wasn't going to win any awards. Yes.
Sorry, Bobby. I think the reason to respond to your comment about not being the best but making more, it's got cult status, isn't it? It's one of those films that has cult status. People watch it, and that's why it's made the money. I mean, MGM bought it off. Sony bought it off MGM in 1999 for $10 million, because that's what it made more money on the TV syndication after that, didn't it? When they showed it on,
absolutely.
So it's a moneymaker. It's weird, isn't it? It's a gaudy bauble that keeps making money, especially for Peter Sellers' estate.
Briefly mentioning the award it actually did get nominated for, as Alex alluded to earlier, the film soundtrack, composed by Burt Bacharach and featuring the hit song The Look of Love, performed by Dusty Springfield, received critical acclaim and was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song. The song was revisited in the first Austin Powers movie, which, to a degree, was inspired by Casino Royale. The soundtrack, with its innovative and memorable compositions, became one of the standout elements of the film, often cited as one of the best parts of the production. Moving on to the good stuff. Well, legacy. 1. Multiple Bonds. The film's concept of having multiple agents named James Bond was a parody of the established Bond formula and allowed the film to explore different comedic styles. This idea was revolutionary at the time and added a layer of meta-humour to the film. I must admit, when I saw that in the trailer, it makes sense now, having gone through it, but when I saw it in the trailer, I thought, oh my God, I can't do this. This sounds stupid.
Don't you think, though, don't you think that whole conceit of Bonds of different names sets up quite well the new Bond films after Daniel Craig?
Mm-hmm.
In almost a perfect way.
I mean, in a way, I was thinking about this morning, actually, because I was thinking about the Daniel Craig arc of films. I was thinking about Casino Royale, mainly because I was listening back to our review episodes, the final part of that. Parts 1 to 4 are available now, people. And it's the only way that I can get... I know that they say, no, James Bond is James Bond. It's not different agents taking on the mantle. it's the only way that I can reconcile and bring some sort of cohesion to the entire series. It's the only way that I can logically reconcile it. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense. The timelines don't make sense at all. Because you've got the added confusion of M being a constant with Judi Dench between Brosnan and Daniel Craig. You've got the original the second M being a constant between the end of the Connery era and the beginning of the Roger Moore era. So, I know this is all make-believe, it's not real, but, we get into this. We're fans of fiction and all the rest of it.
It's important to us. Important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bond, man. It's Bond.
We'll talk about Star Wars another time. I just finished The Acolyte, by the way.
That's another podcast.
Set design. The lavish set designs and elaborate costumes added to the film's visual appeal, even as the narrative itself faltered. The production design, particularly the psychedelic sets, reflected the 1960s counterculture aesthetic. And it definitely, I'm looking at it now, it looks crisp and sharp, it looks really well put together. It doesn't look cheap, but it definitely does look of its time. But it's really well polished. I'd say it looks better on film than on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Probably. It's been remastered for your entertainment.
Yeah.
So I watched it in 4K.
There was a Blu-ray release.
It looks great.
Yeah. Cameo appearances. The film featured numerous cameos by stars such as Jean-Paul Belmondo, George Ralph, William Holden, adding to its eclectic nature. These cameos were part of Feldman's strategy to make the film appealing to a broad audience. Now, film that's just literally come out at the time of recording, where the studio has used the subtext of possible cameos as a big thing in the marketing, which is Wolverine Deadpool.
Don't mention anything to me.
Which Alex has seen as of the time of recording. John and I haven't, but we are going to see it together in under 48 hours time. Very excited.
No spoilers.
But that whole kind of sort of cameo sort of push in the marketing, I could see even back then, because now we've got the internet, we can go and find things out quite easily, whereas back there it would have been what you might have heard on the radio or in the newspapers or whatever.
Perhaps. Yeah,
I think what's different about this, what's different about this is, I think, if you think about Deadpool, it's all about the characters, and there are a lot of cameos, and some of them are amazing, and I can't talk about them because it's just too much. But what's great about Casino Royale is this is just a lot of really good actors and comedians doing things at the just at the height of their they had so much that was going on to. And then when you watch back, you just go, oh my God, it's Ronnie Corbett. Oh my God, it's Orson Welles. And then you kind of go,
oh my God, it's John Misery.
How, and it just,
oh my God, it's Stephen McCallum.
It's constant. Yeah, and it's constant. And then these aren't like just people, these aren't just people that are just like B-list. There's really good actors in this that you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. And I can't believe they're doing that in the film. Like Ronnie Corbett, just the whole. Anyway, I'll need to put him down because otherwise, I need another podcast to talk.
He hasn't
just
got
about
far
it.
to fall, though, has he? To be fair,
no, he's only little man.
Despite its chaotic production, Casino Royale has gained a cult following over the years and is often remembered for its ambition and its eccentricity. It stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of film production and the challenges of adapting a popular literary work into coherent film. The film's unique approach to Bond influenced later parodies and comedic interpretations of the spy genre. So we do have some thanks to give to Casino Royale because it did pave the way for future spy parodies such as the Austin Powers series, which I love very, very much. Those movies, Mike Myers borrowed heavily from Casino Royale's satire, and Casino Royale's influence can be seen in the way subsequent films approach the blend of comedy and espionage. With you two, I feel like you two are Michael Che on the SNL news desk, and I'm Scarlett Johansson's. I'm Colin Jost, trying to keep a straight face to get through this.
Like battling on through the nonsense is just. Bless you, Bobby. Bless you.
Dear. Well done.
You've worked so hard for this, and we've.
I mean, there must be some of the teacher in you, John, that's very proud of me. Right?
Ladies, I am very proud of you, Bobby. Your resilience has been amazing tonight.
You haven't even taken our scores.
We're getting to that. Over the years, Casino Royale has seen various home media releases, including VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray formats, none of which anyone who's under the age of 20 knows what the hell I'm talking about there. Each re-release has introduced the film to new generations of viewers, contributing to its status as a cult classic. In conclusion, the 1967 version of Casino Royale is a fascinating case study in film production gone wrong. From its turbulent development and casting issues to its fragmented narrative and mixed critical reception, the film remains a unique entry in the James Bond canon. Its legacy endures as both a cautionary tale and a beloved cult classic, showcasing the unpredictable magic and madness of Hollywood filmmaking. We're going to do ratings.
Well done.
But
well done.
We're doing ratings for fun. These will have no bearing on the final ultimate Bondathon rundown, which will be happening in a couple months' time. So, over to you, Jack. I mean, I might as well start. I haven't even. I'm watching bits of it now. I'm gonna.
You
need to do it again, Bobby. You need to watch it again.
I'm gonna give it a. Oh my god, they're in heaven now.
Yeah, they all died. Everyone dies. Spoiler: they all died.
6 of them went to a heavenly spot. The 7th is going to a place where it's terribly hot. And the credits.
Yeah,
oh my god!
That's how they finish it.
Oh my god!
Oh.
I'm gonna give it a 3. It deserves something, right? I'm gonna give it a 3. Right, John.
I'm gonna give it 2 marks for Moneypenny. I'm gonna give it 1 mark for the milk cart chase. I'm going to give it 1 mark for production design, so I'm going to give it a 4.
Alex?
Okay. We're not allowed to give it a 69, eh?
Now, Alex, I must get the spreadsheet up and tell you that you rate... No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I did that for John. I've got it up.
I love that. Thank you. I love that.
And I'm looking at this now, and the thing is, I'm looking at some of my ratings, which I admit are a little inconsistent, so I do give you that. And I'm thinking about Moonraker, and Moonraker was very fun. But it's not as good a film as that. I'm going to give it a 6 with maybe a really small 9 at the bottom somewhere.
Okay, now Alex.
Wow.
Did you like this,
Bobby? It's not a good film. It's not a good film. Okay.
Was this better or worse? This is where we're going to get Alex into decimals.
I've got it.
Was this better or worse than Diamonds Are Forever?
6.9. Yes, it was. It was
very good,
better
Alex.
than Diamonds Are Forever. Yeah.
Okay.
You were more entertained by this film than Diamonds Are Forever.
I was.
Okay.
Yes. So they're chalk and cheese. They're not the same. We're not comparing the same things, and that's the problem, because these ratings aren't going to be relevant. But part of me wants to go back and watch it again. I might need some alcohol for that, but part of me does.
You will.
My wife won't watch it again. She would literally rather go to bed. So, but part of me is like, I could probably put it on in the background, and I just chuckle at some of the ridiculousness of it. So, yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
can't wait.
but yeah, that's my thinking. It's not as good as Thunderball. Maybe, but it's just difficult. It's very different.
Do you know what? I can't believe you're actually even comparing it to any of the official films. But anyway, there we go. Roll on, Quantum of Solace, all is forgiven. Thank you guys, and thank you really for sitting through that nonsense. Okay.
Don't make us do that again, please, Bobby.
No.
Well, it wasn't my idea, was it? Was it my idea?
Oh, it was.
Was it?
I thought it was your idea.
Okay, well, I kind of suggested it, and you said yes.
Well,
I didn't
there
put
we
a
go.
gun to your head.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go. Same as I didn't put a gun to our viewers and listeners' heads. And if you're still here, thank you so much for joining
My
us.
God, you're still here.
Yes.
We applaud you. If
If you're still here and
we
you,
applaud you.
if you haven't seen it yet and you're still listening to this, you really need to go get it and watch it.
Or get your head examined. One of the two.
Maybe
Anyway.
get some mental help. Yeah, get some
Yeah.
mental. Some mental. But yeah, no, it's just great.
I'm glad.
Right, where's
I'm
your
glad
outro?
it served to loosen you two
Can I
up,
ask a question?
which is brilliant. Yeah, of
Can I
course
ask a
you
question?
can. Go for it.
Have you seen a film worse than this in terms of just batshit craziness? Have you seen a film? I have.
Oh, right, go on then.
And that is what's his name? It's called The Mountain. It's by this avant-garde director who tried to direct the first Dune before David Lynch. Jodorowsky, you know, Jodorowsky, the French, or what we suppose, comic artist and film director. He made a film called The Mountain, and I don't know what drove me to watch that film, but that film is actually more chaotic and confusing than this film, The Mountain. Don't watch it in front of the kids either.
Yeah, I think I've seen two actually. One is Joss Whedon's Justice League, and the other one is Age of Ultron.
What was the other one? I was laughing too much. What was the other one?
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not a Whedon fan, are you?
I loved what he did with the first Avengers, but yeah, I mean, what he did to the original Justice League is unforgivable. That film was a mess.
Should have stopped
Anyway.
at Firefly, shouldn't he?
Yeah. See, the listeners are like, he was thanking us, which the regular listeners will know after nearly 200 episodes means that you're getting out of here. And we got interrupted again. I'm so sorry, ladies and gents. Please remember, if you can find it in your hearts, if you've got any energy left, give us a rating and review. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and for those of you on YouTube, consider hitting that like button and subscribe to the Tailoring Talk magazine channel if you haven't already. To get in touch with the show, you can email us at tailoringtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Anything to do with this movie will be redirected to Alex and John, and they will deal with you. DM us on Instagram or follow the text to show link in the show notes to text us directly. We will be back very soon to continue the Bondathon properly with Quantum of Solace. For now, take care, be good to each other, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.
Oh, Godspeed to you all. Farewell.